The question is that the bill be now read a second time. Mr. Darryl David.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the MRT and LRT networks are vital transportation arteries that residents of Singapore rely on. Based on statistics released by LTA in 2017, the average combined daily ridership on our rail, MRT and LRT networks is approximately 3.3 million per day. This represents a sizable proportion of daily commute on our public transportation system, and these numbers are expected to rise in the near future when our total rail capacity is further expanded with the opening of new train lines. Since 2016, train operators have gradually transferred their rail assets to the government under the new Rail Financing Framework, or NRFF. The NRFF is meant to create a more reliable system where maintenance regime of train operators are regulated by the enhanced maintenance performance standards. In principle, the NRFF should have had a positive impact on rail reliability since it increases the onus of preventive maintenance on the network operators. Yet, there have been several high-profile train disruptions in 2017, such as the flooding of MRT tunnels in Bishan, the Joo Koon train collision, and a series of incidents that affected 3 train lines on the same day in November 2017. These incidents do not seem to gel with the pledge that SMRT and LTA made in July 2016 that they will increase the headcount of maintenance and engineering staff to meet the enhanced standards. In this regard, I do hope that the Transport Ministry could give the House perhaps an update on whether SMRT and LTA are on track to increase their maintenance capacity, how the Ministry is holding SMRT and LTA responsible to adhering to the maintenance performance standards, and perhaps the consequences they face for not doing so. The NRFF also introduced a new framework to enhance the financial sustainability of the network. Train operators will now pay a license charge into a railway sinking fund that can be used to build, replace or upgrade operating assets. It was subsequently announced in the 2018 budget that the government will inject $5 billion into the Rail Infrastructure Fund, or RIF, that the Minister spoke on earlier. In principle, the RIF is meant to allow the government to save when the fiscal position allows, so as to finance the development of new rail lines and to renew and upgrade existing rail infrastructure. I hope that the Minister can provide clarification on the financing model of the RIF to meet future needs beyond the initial capital injection of $5 billion. I would also like to inquire if the Ministry has developed a set of guidelines, financing guidelines for the fund, and will it be making these guidelines broadly known? The topic of public transport, sir, is not just a critical one, but it's also somewhat an emotive one, because it affects everyone in one way or another. Our Singapore continues to upgrade and enhance our rail and network system. We need to build in a rubric of checks and balances to ensure that our investments are reaping due returns in the form of enhanced performance and reliability. Has the government then predetermined a set of expenditure performance ratios to measure the returns of capital expenditure from the RIF vis-à-vis the expected improvement in train reliability and performance? Aside from setting up the expenditure performance ratio, has a set of asset replacement guidelines been drawn up to ensure that capital equipment is replaced or bought before the need to do so becomes pressing? For example, lifts in public housing estates are generally replaced when they hit the 28-year mark or thereabouts. What is the lifespan of rail assets before they are being replaced, and how is the operational lifespan of these assets determined? Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the coming decade will see several big-ticket expenditures in our public transport. While we are setting aside the RAF to fund current expenditure, I think it is also good that the RAF will form one of the foundational pillars to ensure that we have a reliable public transport system to meet future capacity. With that, sir, I end my speech in support of the bill. Thank you.